haven't they fired you yet?
George, good heavens. Well, what's a bloke from headquarters doing in a place like this?
Oh, I thought I'd come along and see how the other half lived. See what sort of a mess you're making of things now that I'm not here. Do you mind if I use this? Got a couple of cadets coming.
Oh, no, George. Carry on. I was going out anyway. Oh, but, George, do me a favor and use an ashtray for that thing, will you? Last time you were in here, I thought Vesuvius had erupted.
Is that you, Jean? That is George here. Yes. Oh, I mustn't grumble. Listen, Jean, I've got a couple of ATCO cadets coming up from Bournemouth to be shown around the Southern Airways Centre. When they arrive, I wonder if you'd... just a minute. Yes?
Mr. Duckworth?
Yes?
Oh, well, I'm Campbell, sir. We're from Herne.
Oh, yes. Well, come in. That's all right, Jean. I think our young visitors have arrived. Look, if anybody should want me, we'll be in the Airways Centre for the next half hour or so, OK? Oh. Shut the door, will you? There's a draft blowing. Ah, and you're Campbell?
Yes, that's right, sir.
And you're...
I'm Gardner, sir. Tony Gardner.
Oh, bring up a couple of chairs, the pair of you. Oh, pardon me, won't you? Just get my morning drug going. So you two want to get involved in all this? And become air traffic control officers, do you?
I think that's the general idea, sir, yes.
Why?
Well, sir, because I think that,
I think so. We both want to become air traffic control officers because of the responsibility the job has.
Yes, and also, as far as I'm concerned, sir, because I'm very interested in aircraft generally.
Well, that's fair enough. I'm glad to see you've got no preconceived ideas of glamour about this job. It's far from that. Let me see now. Yes, you've been training at Herne for 7 weeks.
Yes, that's right, sir. We have a period now of about 4 weeks at London Airport, and after that we go to Oxford to take our private pilot's license.
And you both started your training more or less straight from school. Well, that's a good thing. There's a lot to learn. Well, what are your impressions of the Herne Training School?
Oh, it's very good, sir. Jock, have you got that picture you took?
Oh, yes.
Well, I don't know. When I was learning about this business, we had wooden huts to do it in. And I've still got the splinter marks to prove it. I think now we'd better wend our way over to the Airways Centre and take a look at air traffic control in actual operation. Because I want you both to get into the real atmosphere of this job as soon as possible.
Hello, Amsterdam. I have 3 estimates for you.
Romeo Hotel, Wickham Bingham to 8.
Swiss Air 101. Roger. Contact Paris now.
You got nothing coming out? Oscar Romeo Hotel,
Well, there it is. Southern Centre. There's quite a little wasp's nest of activity. Oh, look. Let me show you the General Airways setup on this map here. Now, here we are in the middle of the London Terminal Control Area. Now, London Airways takes control of any aircraft the moment it's handed over in any one of these airways in the Southern Flight Information Region until it gets within about 20 miles of London. Then, assuming it's landing at London, it's handed over to what we call the approach control, which is in the control tower. Now, this takes care of the aircraft as it maneuvers in for its landing. And then, in the final stages of its approach, it's handed over to the aerodrome control. You'll see them sitting up in the glass house. Exactly the same system is in operation for the northern region, where the airways centre is at Preston. And likewise for the Scottish region, where the centre's at...
Prestwick, yes, sir.
Hello. Someone's been swatting, I can see that.
Oh, no, not really, sir. It's just that there are two friends from our class up at the Scottish Centre right now.
Oh, there. Let's see, who's the training officer up there now? Oh, I know. Oh, Barney Richards. Barney's quite a character.
Morning, Barney.
Morning, John. Morning.
Morning, sir.
Morning, Frank. Off duty at the double, I see.
At least I do a night watch occasionally.
We're all in this together, you know. Well, now, this is the Airways Centre, where all aircraft through the Scottish area are controlled. Now, the first stage is carried out by an A controller such as Ted here, and it's the estimating of the times that the aircraft is due to report over certain radio checkpoints. For instance, here, a BOAC plane, which we call a Speedbird, Flight 726, has its reporting times written down on a number of these flight progress strips after it becomes airborne. Ted then slides one strip for each reporting point down onto the D controller side of the board over the designators of the particular checkpoints. In this case, the beacon at New Galloway and the beacon at Dean Cross. What's the estimated departure time of the Speedbird?
10:45.
Your attention, please. The OAC announced the departure of their flight 726 to Rome, Damascus and Singapore. Please now assemble at gate 4 and have their boarding passes ready.
Hello?
Hello, darling. It's me.
Has anything happened?
No, everything's all right. I just wanted to know if I'd left those wretched tablets of mine at home. I thought I had them with me.
Well, I thought you had. Are you sure they're not in any of your pockets?
My love, I have looked in my pockets, I have looked in the case, and they are not there.
Oh. Well, if you hold on for a moment, I'll go and look upstairs.
This is the final call for passengers on BOAC flight 726 to Rome.
No.
Will passengers who have not...
Full takeoff check.
Start lever, idle. Flap master switch, guard closed. Flaps, selected. Speed brakes,
0.
trims.
Speedbird 726, you are now clear takeoff, over.
Roger, Tower, thank you.
What I especially want you lads to remember is that as long as an aircraft is flying under the control of people like us, and one day people like you, it will be under constant direction in order that the vital safety factor of separation from all other known traffic is maintained. Well, that's the essence of our job, keeping aircraft apart from each other. And still, the basic way we achieve this is by use of the flight progress strip.
Scottish Airways, Speedbird 726 now crossing New Galloway at flight level 70, over.
Miss?
Why not show your cadets this little one? The CPA has clipped 2 minutes off his Dean Cross estimator. and there's no separation to climb the speedbird through his flight level. So, we shall have to take him up under radar.
Clipper 55, this is Scottish Airways. Continue your climb to flight level 190. Report passing flight level 90.
Outbound 10 right 30 degrees, heading 310. This is to keep you clear of unidentified traffic, 15 miles ahead. Over.
Speedbird 726, this is Scottish Radar. Continuing climb to flight level 340. Report passing 200 and 220. Over.
Roger, Scottish Radar. This is Speedbird 726, climbing to flight level 340, now passing flight level 160, over.
A typical example of the use of radar. Without it, the required separation would have been an interval of 5 minutes at the time the CPA's level was crossed. And the Speedbird would have had to have kept to a lower flight level than he'd planned. And you know how these flying blow lamps use up fuel at low altitudes. It's downright uneconomic.
Mr. Duncan, can you give me any idea what's the matter with you?
I've had a lot of stomach trouble. I've got an awful pain.
He obviously wasn't feeling well when he came on board, Captain.
I think we're in luck, sir. There's a Dr. MacDonald here in first class, sir.
Good.
I should think that at any moment now the Speedbird will be calling over Dean Cross.
But how exactly does an aircraft know when it's over a beacon?
Well, it's very simple, really. You see, a radio beacon radiates a signal in all directions. Now, this is picked up by the aircraft and causes a pointer on the pilot's instruments to line up with the beacon. When the aircraft passes over the beacon, the pointer swings in the reverse direction.
Scottish Radar, Speedbird 726 over Dean Cross 53, leaving flight level 220, climbing 340, estimating Burnley 1104, over.
Speedbird 726, contact Preston Airways on frequency 124.2, over.
Thank you, Scottish Airways. Out. Preston Airways, Speedbird 726 over Dean Cross at 53, flight level 225, climbing to 340, estimating Burnley 1104, over.
He's now left the Scottish Airways part of the system for Preston Airways. When he gets into the higher flight levels, he'll be operating in airspace with a fair proportion of military aircraft. But with the cooperation of the Royal Air Force Control, which provides a direct liaison between the military and civil control, he should continue to be safeguarded and should be all set for a fair flight to Rome.
Captain. Well, I've just had a word with our friend Mr. Duncan back there, and this is one diagnosis which is very simple. The man is obviously suffering from an acute peptic ulcer.
Whiskey left on the 360. Your position is approximately 6 miles to the southwest of London. No, just about to. Nav 744, contact radar 121.3.
Yeah.
Good day.
Yes, see him.
Go ahead, Tom.
Okay, Bill.
Roger, Echo Sierra, continue towards Watford. The London way, the surface wind is now 506. Visibility 1,800 yards, 2 up to 1,200 feet.
Now, you remember that earlier this morning we were talking about a place called Approach Control, which handles all aircraft within a radius of about 20 miles of London Airport. Well, this is it. But Joyce, what's that just come in?
It's Canadian Pacific 302 for us.
All right. Well, let's have a look and see how traffic is brought down through the stack.
Through the stack, sir?
Yes. Well, haven't they... Oh, of course, you wouldn't have heard about the stacking system, would you?
No, sir.
Oh, in that case, I think a little demonstration's called for. It's a scaled reproduction of the countryside around London Airport. There are the main runways. And here at Epsom and the other at Watford are what we call the two holding stacks. Now, the Watford holding stack is the one upon which the aircraft from the west, the north, and the east arrive. Oh, it's about 15 miles away from London. Okay? Now, as you both realize, an aerodrome just can't let aircraft pile down onto the runway, one after another, whenever they want to. Well, it's not so bad when traffic's not heavy. But when, as here, at London Airport, you've sometimes got aircraft arriving for landing at the rate of 1 every 2 minutes or less, well, then obviously a bit of order's got to be established. Now, the best way to do this, and to keep the aircraft safely separated from each other, is to create a sort of air queue of traffic waiting to land. Now, what we do is this. Aircraft number 1 comes straight into land like this. Aircraft number 2 is told to hold at 5,000 feet by going into an orbit at that altitude. The next plane is told to circle at 1,000 feet higher. That's at 6,000 feet, and so on, until, say, up to about 12,000 feet, you'd have 8 planes circling at their 1,000 feet layers, one above the other, ready for the controller to peel them off, one by one from the bottom, rather like cards. Hence, you stack. Now, similarly, aircraft arriving from the southeast, south and southwest converge on Epsom. Now, the real skill here is the interweaving of the approach paths from the 2 stacks.
London Airways, Speedbird 726, Daventry 09, request immediate descent for landing at London due to sick passenger on board. Estimating Beacon Hill at 14. Over.
Roger 726, London Airways. You are recleared to London via Beacon Hill and Watford. Descend to flight level 100 initially, runway at London 28 left. Over.
Roger, Sierra.
Go ahead, Airways.
Towards Watford, direct will call, radar position to the ILS on 10 left.
ACR.
This could be an inbound through Watford.
Yeah. Yes, see.
Right. It's a diversion.
Okay, Bill,
Roger, Echo Sierra. Continue towards Watford, and the London Rail, the South
Roger, Airways.
506. Visibility 1,800 yards, 2 up at 1,200 feet, 7 up at 4,000 feet.
Speedbird 726, this is London approach. You are recleared to flight level 80. Report passing Beacon Hill. Over.
Now, the first thing Bill has done is to re-clear the Speedbird to the lowest vacant flight level at Watford. Now, the next thing that'll happen is that the radar boys will identify the aircraft as it reports and turns over Beacon Hill.
Speedbird 726 is diverting, requests immediate landing. He's released to us now, estimating Beacon Hill at 14. He's got a sick passenger on board.
Roger, as soon as I identified him, I'll make him number 1.
Okay.
You should now see him altering the flight levels of the aircraft ahead in the stack, so as to get the Speedbird through and into land as quickly as possible.
Clipper 101, this is London approach. You are recleared to flight level 70. Report leaving 60. Over.
Roger. Leaving 60 now.
London approach, this is Speedbird 726, over Beacon Hill, descending to flight level 80. Estimating Watford 17. Over.
Roger, Speedbird 726, you are identified. Descend, flight level 50. You're number 1 in traffic. London's weather is
Roger, Delta Bravo,
260, 10 knots, 2 nautical miles, 7 octaves, 700 feet out.
VOAC Control, this is Captain Holt of 726, scheduled Prestwick to Rome. Have requested immediate descent for landing at London due to sick passenger on board. Case confirmed acute peptic ulcer.
Duty officer, duty officer.
Duty officer. We have 726 diverting to London.
Roger, Control, with action. Flight level 70. Report leaving 60. We have a priority descent. Over. Speedbird 726, this is London. Right, 275. Just on the ILS. We have a priority descent. Over.
Runway 28 left. Surface wind indicating 260 at 12 knots.
brake. 100 knots. 80.
How long will it be before the ambulance people can actually get onto that plane?
Well, I should think as soon as it's in the parking stand and the captain's cut engines.
Cut engines 1, 2 and 4.
1, 2 and 4 off. Auxiliary pumps. Well, here comes the ambulance. On the right.
Good. Leaving aircraft check.
Radio bus switch off.
Excuse me, sir.
Yep.
They're bringing the forklift up from Mr. Duncan now, sir.
Oh.
Engine fuel valves. Closed. Fire test. This is Speedbird 726. Go ahead, Tar.
Speedbird 726, cleared to roam via Amber 1, Amber 26. Cross Fair Oaks above 2, Dunsfold 4,000 feet. Climb when instructed by radar, maintain flight level 370, over.
Roger, Tar. Starting engines now. Okay to start engines, sir?
Well, Rome, here we come.
Roger, hover 1. Check it, Slough. Zulu Whiskey, descend to 1,500 feet. If I turn you in now, you'll have approximately 5 mile final. Will that be sufficient? Roger, Zulu Whiskey.
Well,
turn
there
right,
it is.
heading
All back to normal. Of course, an emergency of that kind doesn't happen every day. But when it does, well, there's always a controller to take care of it, which is as it should be. And end of lesson. All right, come along. Oh, Bill, see you later.
Much later. My relief is a week overdue.
It's lies, all lies. Here I am, right on time. Now then, what have you got for me?
Right, as you see it, both runways are available. 28 left for landing, 28 right for takeoff. Making visibility at 2 miles. Aircraft will see the runway for 3 miles. Just meet us here. Both these over Watford were not in contact with you. These 3 over Epsom are still on radar. 28 left. KLM 135, loud and clear, go ahead. Roger, KLM 135. The QNH is 1003 millibars.
I hear you had a priority descent at Watford this morning. Any connection with that ambulance that shot by me just now?
Could be. We had a BOAC 707 diverted with a sick passenger on board. Should be just about airborne.